I would choose just not to go at all. I don't have the bravery gene that you all have. Trust me.
It's not a gene. You just need to find someone to be brave for.
What if I told you that the most powerful weapon in the universe isn't a lightsaber, a magic ring, or a radioactive spider bite? In fact, what if the thing that saves humanity from a literal solar extinction isn't a chosen one with a destiny, but a man with a PhD who is just really qualified to do the work? This is how Project Hail Mary pulls off a narrative miracle. It replaces the luck-based hero with the logic-based professional. And in a dying universe with extreme stakes, it proves that intellectual mastery isn't just another character trait, it might just be the only superpower that actually matters. Most Hollywood blockbusters rely on a destiny crutch. Think about Luke Skywalker. Really, he's just a farm boy, but it's okay because he comes from the right bloodline. Think about Harry Potter. He doesn't earn his destiny, he's kind of just born into it. A prophecy is written before he can even walk, and his greatest power comes from something his mother did while he was still in a crib. Their success is a byproduct of their existence. They're kind of just lucky enough to be the hero of the story. But Project Hail Mary does something I have never seen in a mainstream sci-fi film ever. On the surface, it looks like a standard hero setup, but with different details. A man wakes up on a spaceship with amnesia, 2 dead crewmates, and a mission to save the sun. But as the story unfolds through the flashbacks we see, we realize that our hero, Ryland Grace, isn't there because he's the chosen one or because he's the bravest. He's there because he's the only person who understood the science well enough to be useful. In Project Hail Mary, the hero problem is solved by removing the hero and replacing him with a specialist. This goes against almost every other story about saving the universe that imagines good intentions are all it takes to rise up and save the world. Let's look at how this intellectual superpower actually functions. In most sci-fi stories, when the hero meets an alien, they have some sort of a universal translator, or some psychic or physical bond. It's a narrative shortcut, a stroke of luck that allows the plot to move. Compare that to Ryland meeting Rocky. When he encounters an Iridian, he doesn't find a way to feel what the alien is thinking, he uses a scientific method. He measures the atmospheric pressure. He realizes that for them to even coexist in the same room, he needs to understand the physical constraints of the alien's biology. By calculating that Rocky lives in a soup of superheated, high-pressure ammonia, he's not just getting to know a new species, he's establishing the parameters needed to keep them both alive. It's the first step in turning a terrifying other into a solvable set of variables. He uses a clock to establish a base 10 numbering system. He doesn't wait for some magical universal translator to do the work for him. Instead, he uses the only language they both already speak, the fundamental laws of physics. By showing Rocky a digital clock and pointing out how the numbers change as time passes, he builds a bridge of pure logic. He's establishing a shared way to count, proving that before you can even try having a conversation with an alien, you first have to agree that 1 + 1 = 2. He builds a literal database to translate musical notes into linguistic data. Since Iridians communicate through chords and pitches rather than vowels and consonants, Ryland treats the alien's voice like raw data. He uses an Excel-style software to map these musical frequencies to English words, essentially brute forcing a language through pattern recognition.
Hi, Grace.
You're in a ball.
It's not a psychic bond. It's a high-stakes data entry project that turns a song into a conversation. And in the book, we get pages of granular detail on how they develop a vocabulary. In the movie, we see the visual manifestation of that labor. This isn't space magic, this is intellectual mastery. As a contrast, let's look at Avengers Endgame. Tony Stark is staring at a photo of Peter Parker, and the solution to time travel kind of just comes to him. He walks into his workshop, runs the math on the holographic display, and cracks quantum mechanics in one night. And emotionally, it works, like you feel it, but step back and look at what the movie is actually telling you, that the most complex physics problems in human history was solved not through years of hard work, but through grief. That right there is intelligence used as a narrative shortcut. The cruel irony is that in the first Iron Man movie, the directors knew better. Tony building the Mark I in a cave, that was earned. You watched him fail, iterate, burn his hands, start over. That version of Tony Stark made you believe in the science because it actually cost him something. By endgame, the movie doesn't care how he solved it. It just needs him to solve it so the story can move. We never see the failed attempts. We never see the 47 inversions that don't work. We just know that he's a genius and accept the results. Ryland and Rocky, on the other hand, spend weeks failing. The story makes you sit in it. You watch them misunderstand each other, restart from scratch, and throw out entire frameworks. Because this is what real problem solving looks like. Just two people who refuse to leave the room. Tony Stark's intelligence is told to us, but Ryland's is proven to us. It turns their first contact from a miracle into an engineering project. But here's the real twist that separates Ryland from every other hero on the big screen. In a typical movie, the hero volunteers for the suicide mission because of their moral compass. Think of Captain America jumping on that grenade in the first movie. In Project Hail Mary, we learned the devastating truth. Ryland Grace was a coward. He didn't want to go. He had to be drugged and forced onto the ship because he was too afraid to die for humanity. This is a huge 180 from the heroic ideal. The movie shows us that you don't need to be a good person to save the world. You just need to be the person who knows how to keep the astrophage alive. This reframes the entire concept of a protagonist. We aren't rooting for Ryland because he's the embodiment of virtue. We're rooting for him because his intelligence is the only thing that could save us from a frozen Earth. And what it really does is it shows us the ultimate importance of the expert. In other movies, we see the smart character often being brushed aside as the nerdy sidekick, the person the hero ignores until it's almost too late. Think of the researchers in Godzilla or the climatologists in The Day After Tomorrow. I mean, their role is to provide the boring exposition so the protagonist has a reason to act fast. We even see this when the experts are treated as side teachers for the protagonist, the mentors who exist only to give the hero a crash course before the real action starts. Think of Dr. Selvig in Thor or the scientists in Pacific Rim. They do all the heavy lifting in the lab just to hand the big solution to a hero who actually gets to save the day. They are a means to an end. But in Project Hail Mary, the science isn't the side quest, it is the main mission. The expert doesn't just teach the hero how to win, the expert is the hero. So why does this resonate so much more than a typical superhero story? Because luck is exclusive. You can't choose to be the chosen one, and you can't work for it either. Your fate is already predetermined. But logic, or intellectual mastery, is something that you can work towards. It's something that is earned. As Eva Stratz said,
I don't need modest, I need people who think they're right when everyone else thinks they're wrong.
While most sci-fi reaches for the metaphysical or the spiritual to bridge the gap between worlds, Project Hail Mary takes a much more grounded approach. It differentiates itself by suggesting that the universe isn't connected by mystical bonds, but by objective facts. As opposed to a film like Interstellar, where we're told that love is the one thing that transcends time and space. And it's a beautiful sentiment, but it's a total fantasy. There isn't really any science behind that. In this story, the relationship between Grace and Rocky is the heart of the film, but that heart is built on a foundation of physics. They don't become friends because they are destined to meet, or because of some cosmic alignment. They become friends because they are the only two beings in the quadrant who understands the inverse square law. It's a bond forged in logic, proving that the most profound connection isn't magic, it's mutual understanding. The logic superpower solves the hero problem by making the hero human. It suggests that our greatest chance for survival isn't tied to fate or destiny. It's in our own ability to observe, think, and innovate. And that is more profound, relatable, and beautiful than any other hero destiny out there.
I would choose just not to go at all. I don't have the bravery gene that you all have. Trust me.
It's not a gene. You just need to find someone to be brave for.
Project Hail Mary isn't just another fun space adventure. It's a love letter to the people who actually love science. By stripping away the luck and the destiny aspect of things, Andy Weir and the filmmakers created a story where the stakes feel real because the solutions are actually earned. It proves that in a cold, indifferent universe, the most heroic thing you can be is competent. We don't need a Superman to save us from the next extinction level event. We need a guy with a lab coat and the stubbornness to keep working until the numbers add up. Because in the end, when you desperately need something fixed, you don't look for a miracle, you look for someone that actually knows how to fix it. Let us know what you guys think of this movie's take on the traditional hero role, and follow us for more breakdowns like this.